off on Friday, we were talking about patterns of numbers. We were talking about patterns of numbers. Could someone remind me what were some patterns that we were looking at with our numbers on Friday? If you don't remember, we wrote it down in our math notebook. That's the whole reason why we write things down, so you can go back and look at them. Around here. It was whatever we did on Friday, but that's where you wrote it. So what were some patterns of numbers we were working with? Devin? What? 1, 2, 3, keep going. So literally repeating the same number and over again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That is one type of pattern that we've looked at with numbers. But we also looked at another type of pattern. What other type of pattern did we look at? You should either be raising your hand because you know it, or looking back in your notebook because you wrote it down on Friday. Sitting there looking at me is not solving your problem. And your problem is to answer this question. Clayton?
I don't know if this is the one you're talking about, but 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, then 10, 20, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60.
Yeah, what's repeating in those patterns?
10.
Yeah, so instead of literally the number repeating, the change is repeating. And we know those as skip counts. That's what our skip counts are, is they're common patterns of numbers. So on the next blank page, go ahead and turn to the next blank page. Go ahead and title it skip counts. The skip counts are common number patterns that we know. Go ahead and take some time and write some skip counts that you know. I bet you know at least 2 different ones, if not 3 different ones, maybe even more than that.
Can we write the ...
Sure.
Just counting by ones count as skip counting.
Counting by ones does not count as skip counting because that is just our regular counting.
What about
5 would be skip counting, yeah. Odd numbers don't mean anything. We're counting, we're skip counting.
Can you write the EX?
You can. You can. All right, Tinley, I see you working over there. What skip counts did you write? Okay, tell me what you started. What were you writing? Tell me what you wrote. Just 10? We don't have to keep going for forever, even though I think you could skip count for forever. Yeah, if you know your 10s, which I think almost all of you do, go ahead and write that down. That's a common skip count that you know. You could skip count by 10s all the time. What else did you write down? What are some other skip counts that you know? Devin? Okay, tell me. Yeah, I mean, we know it keeps going. Sure. 5s are super easy skip count for many, many people. Michael? 2s. Tell it to me.
4, 6, 8,
Yeah, and then it keeps going. I will tell you, this is probably where my list stops. I'm not a super great skip counter on much anything else, but some of you are. Shelby, what's something else that you're a good skip counter of? 400? Okay, prove it to me.
400, 800, 1000.
Can you keep going?
1006.
Okay, well, if you can only skip count by 3 times, I'm not sure sure if we're super good skip counting with four numbers, but that was a good start. I like it. Glenn? Sure.
So I have twos,
Yep.
fives,
Yep.
threes, fours, and tens.
All right, let's do threes. Go.
3, 6, 9, 12. That's all that I have.
John?
I have 5, 7, 15, 20,
Yep.
4, 6, 8, 10,
Yep.
10, 20, 30, 40, 3, 6, 9, 12, 4, 8, 12, 16, 6, 12, 18, 24.
Sure. All of those different skip counts are patterns. And those patterns can help us solve multiplication. Draw a line underneath your skip counts. Just draw a line. Hang on, Bladen. We're going to start with an easy one that we all know. Let's do 10. So we're going to write 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. And then we're going to put our little triangles of change because we know that it's not the same number every single time. That's not what's repeating. Instead, what's repeating is what we're changing. What are we changing between each number? It's not a trick question. What am I changing between each number, Michael? I'm changing a 10. I'm adding 10, right? So I'm going to write plus 10, plus 10, plus 10, plus 10. Last week, we learned that multiplication is counting in groups. That symbol quite literally means how many groups of something you have. I see a lot of the same number. Do you see a lot of the same number? Yeah, I do. I see a plus 10, a plus 10, a plus 10, a plus 10.
And then a normal.
So, how many groups of plus 10 do you see? I'm going to go to 4. I see 4 groups of 10.
I see 5 groups of 10.
I see 4 groups of 10. You see 5 numbers, but I have 4 groups of 10.
Write down 4 numbers.
If I'm writing, you are writing. Can you put your mask on, please? When? 4 groups of 10. If I write this as a multiplication equation instead of in English, it looks like this. What number did I stop at when I did my 4 groups of 10? Shelby? 40. 10, 20, 30, 40. The number of skip counts that I do, sit up, Brayden. The number of skip counts that I do helps me solve multiplication problems. I'm counting skip counts when I multiply. Do you have a question?
It kind of reminds me of those, but it's like you do it in 2 ways.
Sit up,
It's like you have a Lego. Let's say you built like a Lego 10.
Sure.
You took the one away.
Sure.
And then you built a Lego 4. And
Let's do another skip count. How about 5? So 0. I'm writing, that means you're writing 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and then I'll stop there. I'm going to put my triangles of change, so I can identify what is changing in my pattern. What is changing in my pattern? Not a trick question. What is changing in my pattern? Elena? 5. Specifically, I'm going up 5. So I write plus 5, plus 5, plus 5, plus 5, plus 5. See a lot of the same number over and over and over again, that repeated addition. How many groups of that same number do I have? Not a trick question. You just gotta count them. How many groups? Lincoln, how many groups are there? 5, yeah. 5 groups of, Lincoln just counted all these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 groups of, how many is inside each group? How many was each skip count worth? Harper? 5. 5 groups of 5. Let's translate that into math language. 5 groups of 5. Where did I end up? When I counted 5 groups of 5, what number did I end on? What was my total? 7? 25. A faster way to do this. Let's count by 5s, but hold up a finger for every group. Ready? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 5 groups. Skip counting by 5s. 25. You gonna try it with 2s? What is 5 groups of 2?
2, 4, 6, 20, 10.
Is it 12 or is it 10?
10.
10. Let's do it together. Ready? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 5 groups of 2 skip counts. Pretty cool, huh? The answer to that question is yes. So cool, Miss Miller. You're the coolest.
Wait, why does it say Miss Miller is baking bananas?
Miss Miller is making banana pudding for a picnic on Saturday. Who likes banana pudding? Raise your hand. Oh my gosh, you've never had banana pudding?
No.
So, let me tell you something. It's great, and here's why. It has bananas in it, and I love, love, love bananas. If you don't like bananas, you're probably not going to like banana pudding. It's got pudding in it, usually vanilla, sometimes banana cream. It's got vanilla wafers, you know what those are? You know, like those little vanilla you
You like bananas?
And then it's got whipped cream. So, it is mostly sugar with a little bit of fruit.
Okay.
So, big fan. Baking banana pudding. I bought 4 bunches of bananas. Can you imagine what that looks like at the grocery store? A bunch of bananas?
Yeah.
I am not saying bunch as in many. I'm not sure if you know this, but when you buy a group of bananas, that group is literally called a bunch. It doesn't really matter, but it's a bunch. That's what the name of that group is called. But each of my bunches that I bought has 5 bananas on it. Does that make sense? So far, so good. Gwen?
I just want the bananas blurred out.
Because it's an image. There's not a whole lot I can do about that. Victor, what?
You like bananas?
Alright, so my problem wants to know how many bananas did Miss Miller buy? What am I counting in that problem? That is my first step always. I gotta figure out what it is that I'm counting. What am I counting in that problem? I should see more than one hand. This is not a trick question. If you're not sure, look at the question part of that word problem. It usually gives you a good idea of what I'm counting. Shelby, what am I counting?
Bananas.
I'm counting bananas. specifically the bananas that I bought. On the next blank page, we're going to write our answer sentence at the top. Miss Miller bought. I'm not putting a number because I don't know that number yet. I'm going to put a spot saver. Blank. Bananas. You should have this written down, please. Excuse me? On top of the next blank page. Console.
What if we know how many we have to write it?
You are always, always, always going to write an answer sentence. For always. Because in 3rd grade, I will tell you it doesn't matter so much. But when I taught 5th grade, it matters a lot because you're dealing with a lot of different things. So I'd rather you get in the habit now of saying, okay, what am I counting? Counting bananas, blah, 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 blah. That way, by the time you get to 4th grade and 5th grade, max it up, please. You already have that habit, and you know, all right, I need to figure out what I'm counting. Show me. Yeah, B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
I can't see it.
B-A-N-A-N-A-S. Bananas. Alright, so the first thing, no thank you, Jacob. The first thing, if you do a word problem, should be that answer sentence. Always. I need to know what it is that you're counting. Are you counting grapes in this problem?
No.
No. Are you counting Miss Miller's in this problem?
No.
No. Are you counting Saturdays?
No.
Picnics?
No.
No, you're not. So we need to write that answer sentence so we know specifically what we are counting. Alright. We're counting bananas. Specifically, bunches of bananas. Let's draw them. Let's draw them. So, I bought 1 bunch. 2 bunch. 3 bunch. And I'll leave that one there for 4 bunch. Draw your bunches of bananas. I recommend you kind of make them look like funny J's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure each bunch has 5 bananas on it. That is important. Okay, so this is the part where you're drawing bananas, please.
Almost like potatoes.
You need 4 bunches, and each bunch needs 5 bananas. Please do not make it take the entire page. There's no need for that.
Oh my god.
Now, if I ask you to draw a picture for every single banana, that's going to be awful. Because some of y'all's bananas look a little questionable. So, from here on out, you are not literally drawing the item. Finley, no thank you. Last week we drew rain boots, we drew spiders, we drew cars. Today you drew bananas. From here on out, we're not drawing real things anymore because it takes too long. Instead, we're going to draw a visual model. A visual model makes it way faster and way easier to represent that group. Visual model that we're going to draw is what I like to call circles and dots. We have 4 groups, 4 bunches of bananas. Draw 4 circles. They don't need to be giant, but they need to be big enough to hold some dots. So draw 4 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are my 4 bunches right there.
Yeah.
How many how many bananas are inside each bunch? 5 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm fine with dots. I'm fine with tally marks if you want to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you are comfortable writing the number, that is okay too. Any of these I am fine with. Pick what works for you. If you want to put dots in the middle, go for it. If you want to put tally marks in the middle, go for it. If you want to put the number in there, go for it. I don't care. As long as it's not literal bananas, because that's going to take forever. And I don't have time for it to take forever.
Would you prefer
So you should have 4 groups. And inside those 4 groups, we have our 5 bananas. Question?
I do chocolate chip cookies, 4 chocolate chip cookies.
Sure. Great. Awesome. Light them up.
Would you prefer the 5 because it's the quickest?
I don't care. So Bladen asked if I would prefer the number. I'm going to let you decide what works best for your brain. If number works best for your brain, go for it. If dots work better for your brain, go for it. I'm not going to tell you which version, as long as you have the right amount, right value. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. We didn't answer sentence. Our picture. We've fixed our picture so that we're making a visual model, not something crazy, not children with rain boots, not bunches of bananas, with circles and dots. Now we need to turn that into an equation, into some math language. How do I find the total number of these bananas, and these bananas, and these bananas, and these bananas? What math can I do to find this, and this, and this, and this? Lincoln? How many bunches? Do I have 1 bunch? How many bunches do I have? 4. So I can write 4 groups of 5, and since I'm writing, that means you are writing. I can write that as an equation, which looks like this: 4 times 5. Is there another equation I can do? Brayden? That's not an equation. Is there another equation I can do? Show me. I did. 4 times 5. I got that equation. Is there another equation I can do? Bill?
4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4.
Nope. Can't do 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4.
5 plus
Look at your model.
5. Oh, 5.
There you go. I have 5 in each. So I could write an addition equation. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. These 2 equations do the same thing. They just look a little different. Sit up, please, Victor. Thank you. Does anyone have the answer to either of those equations? If you're not sure yet, you can whip out some skip counting. Brayden? 20, 5, 10, 15, 20, 4 skip counts of 5 got me to 20. Back up to that answer sentence. Miss Miller bought 20. What? Bananas. I need a unit. What in the world am I counting? 20 bananas. 20 bananas.
Actually, how much bananas do you need for banana pudding?
That would be a gigantic banana pudding. That would be a lot. That's a lot.
How much should you need?
All right, we're gonna do
50.
one more. We're gonna do one more. I'm going to read this problem to you first. I want you to figure out the answer sentence. See if you can write down the answer sentence. Go ahead. If you have used up that whole page, front page, if you are like Jacob and only wrote at the top, you can do yours down at the bottom. You decide what fits in your notebook. Alright, this problem reads, Miss Howard's art class, which I guess I need to update because it's not Miss Howard anymore. Miss Howard's art class is using crayons today. Each table has one box of crayons on it. Each box has 8 crayons. There are 7 tables in the classroom. How many crayons can Miss Howard's students use today? Think about what it is that you're counting. Then you can write your answer sentence. Think about what you're counting. I'll read it again. Miss Howard's art class is using crayons today. Each table has one box of crayons on it. Each box contains 8 crayons. There are 7 tables in the classroom. How many crayons can Miss Howard's students use today? Think about what you're counting and see if you can write your answer sentence. If you're having trouble figuring that out, look at the question part, the part literally with the question mark, to help you. Do you have a question or are you just ready to answer? Do you have a question? What's that?
Looking at how many crayons are on each table, or how many crayons each student is using?
Neither. How many crayons are in art class? That is not an answer sentence. That is just picking numbers and doing some kind of random operation. What am I counting?
Crayons.
What am I counting? This is not tricky. Raise your hand. What am I counting? Well, what am I counting?
Crayons.
Crayons. I'm counting crayons. 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 Someone want to read their answer sentence to me? Go for it, Gwen. The class can use blank crayons. Anyone else want to give it a go? Go for it, Blaine.
8 crayons.
Nope, that's not going to be an answer sentence.
Of words.
Words, always. Finley, give it a go. Miss Howard has blank crayons. Love it. Catch. Well done. Elena, give it a go. Write it down. Love it. Miss Howard students use blank crayons today. Awesome. Any version of that, or you can write down the one that Gwen gave us to start. This is an answer sentence. There's no math. No math. Just literally, what are we going to be counting today? We counting tables,
Crayons.
crayons, Miss Howard's,
Yes.
boxes, art. What are we counting? We're counting crayons. Now these crayons are not floating in space, correct? Where are they?
In a box.
Where are these crayons? Bella? They're in a box. Where are these boxes floating in space? On the table. One table? How many tables? 7. Now, instead of doing circles, I'm going to do rectangles because tables usually are rectangles. But if you want to do circles, go for it. I'm going to draw 7 rectangles. And those 7 rectangles, or circles if you wanted to do circles, are my model of my tables. I am not drawing tables because holy moly, that would take forever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you wanted to do circles, that's fine. This is the part where you draw your visual model.
I did.
Circles. Oh, I see. Bella told us that there are 7 tables. Did Bella just memorize that from art class? No. Bella, where did you find that information out from? Yes, it literally says there are 7 tables in the classroom. Just straight from. What's sitting on all those tables? What's sitting on all those tables? Elena? Crayons! 50 of them? No. How many? Elena, how many crayons are sitting on each table? 8, because it's just one box. Go ahead and slap some 8 crayons. Are you going to be drawing literally crayons on all tables? No. Could you just write the number 8?
Yes.
Yeah? Could you do 8 dots?
Yes.
Could I do 8 tally marks?
Yes.
Could I do 8 pictures of Miss Miller?
No.
No, please don't.
That'll take even longer than drawing tables.
I'm into 8 pictures of Miss Miller. That's super cool, but that would take 8,000 years. So I've got my picture model, my visual model. I know what's happening. I can see it. I've drawn it. Big fan of drawing. Drawing is thinking, in case you weren't sure. Now I need some math to match that drawing. I need some equation. How do I figure out how many, figure it out, please, how many crayons floating around Miss Howard's room? Lincoln, what do you think? I can count by 8. How many groups of 8 are there? 7. Lincoln's telling me 7 groups of 8. Lincoln, can you translate that sentence into a math equation?
7 times 8.
Oh! Love! Yes! Is there another math equation you know yet? It's a trick question. The answer is yes. Do you know what it is, Lincoln? That was not good, bro. My bad. My bad.
Wait.
Brayden, you think you know the other math equation? Go for it.
8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8.
Yes! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could literally do 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8, 7, 8, over and over and over and over and over again. Go ahead. Go for it. Not right this second. John?
I have one.
One what? Okay.
16 plus 16 plus 16.
Ooh. So, do you see any 16s on the board?
No.
No. Can I share with you what Sean is thinking? Because I can read mine. It's a pretty cool trick that I have.
Okay, you're adding the
So Sean said, okay, I don't really know 7 groups of 8, and I'm not great at skip counting by 8, even though that was a strategy we just did. 8s are really hard to skip count. So what Sean did is he took his repeated addition equation and made these little triangles. 8 plus 8. Can you do 8 plus 8? Yeah. 8 plus 8, that's 16. Remember, if I'm writing, you are writing. So that took care of those 2 8s. Let's move on to the next 2 8s. Well, 8 plus 8, that's also 16. Let's move on to the next 2 8s. Hey, those are worth 16. And then I just have that one 8 by itself. 8 plus by itself is 8. So what Sean is doing is he's starting to solve 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 blah, 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 blah. By combining things that he knows. Now we can go back and add 16 plus 16. Oof. You know, 16 plus 16?
32.
Is that 32?
Yes.
Yes. 32 plus 16 plus 8?
It would be, hold on,
16. 17, 18, 1, 2, 3,
40.
24.
You have to solve
24. 24.
Oh, I thought we were,
Now you can combine those.
50. 56.
Well done. Good mental gymnastics. I like it.
Gymnastics.
How many crayons are floating around the art room?
50.
How many
No.
crayons are floating around the art room, Devin? 56. Back up to that answer sentence. The class can use
56
56
crayons.
crayons. Crayons. Patrick, are you crayons or crayons?
Crowns?
Crowns. Ooh, fun.
Like a crown on your head, right?
So funny.
The proper way.
Probably crayons.
You're right. Like tomatoes, kind of.